but that is not steady income. Steady income is when people are paying you month over month over month over month for value that you're giving them month over month over month over month. That value does not have to be you always physically or having to be present to give them value, but you got to give them some type of value. If you give them value month over month over month over month, they will pay you month over month over month over month, and then you create steady income because you can rely on that income as income that's going to allow you to be able to operate your business, live your life, do the things that you want to do.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Today's episode, I want to talk about how to make steady income. I think this is I know this is a really important episode because I was looking at people that were joining my Facebook community. And inside of the community, when you are wanting access to the community, we make you answer a few questions. I'm basically trying to find out from people like, what do you want? That's how I usually come up with the episodes of the podcast, as I talk about things that people are looking for. And the last three people, there's actually this morning, people that asked for entry into the group, the thing that they said they wanted is they said, I want to know how to make steady income. So let's talk about what steady income is. And let's talk about what steady income isn't. Okay. All right. So let's talk about what steady income is. Steady income does not necessarily have to be online income, because I can make money online, which means that someone is getting value from me in an online manner, but that does not mean that the income is steady. Okay. Here, let me give you an example. If I put out a $27 program and I put it out and I do a post on Instagram and I say something about whatever the program is about, and I tell people, hey, comment program below and I'll send you a link for you to buy the program. Okay, I can get a $27 sale. Like right before I did this podcast, I was looking at my email and I got two $47 sales. Okay, but those $47 sales are not necessarily steady income. They're online income, and the money people gave to me is detached from my time, which is cool. But the reality is that the only time that I get that is when I am either promoting or I am talking to someone or I do a podcast and I say, hey, go and buy this or whatever. Like that's not steady income. That is online income, but that is not steady income. Steady income is when people are paying you month over month over month over month for value that you're giving them month over month over month over month. That value does not have to be you always physically or having to be present to give them value, but you got to give them some type of value. And if you give them value month over month over month over month, they will pay you month over month over month over month, and then you create steady income because you can rely on that income as income that's going to allow you to be able to operate your business, live your life, do the things that you want to do. All right, I'm going to give you some examples. My first true steady income that I was able to create for my clinics was in 2014. So in 2014, what is this now? 12 years ago? Okay. So in 2014, what I was able to do, and I only did this because this product that I'm about to talk about helped me on a personal level because I was struggling with a lot of health issues and gut issues and all the other stuff. And there was a product that I used. It was through a company called Beachbody. The product was called Shakeology. I used Shakeology, which was a supplement. It's like a powder supplement that you can use with water or milk or oat milk and, add fruits to it and whatnot. But basically it was like a bunch of superfoods, right? It's a powerful powdered supplement, okay? And I use Shakeology, and Shakeology helped me on a personal level, helped my body, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And then I decided I'm going to start to sell Shakeology within my clinic. Okay. Now, how did it become steady income? All right. And then I'm going to tell you how I actually did it and how I positioned it, okay, to my clients. But basically how it became steady income is the following. Shakeology is something that you can buy one-off. If you buy it one-off, it's about 20% more than if you buy it in a subscription model. Okay, at that time, I don't know what it is now, but at that time it was like $129 or something like that a month. Okay, and if I sold it for $129, I think I got like, it's like, I think it was like $34 is what I got, $35 for every single bag of Shakeology that I sold. And the bags would typically last people for a month. Okay. So it was about 130-ish or whatever dollars. And I got, 35-ish dollars from each one. But what would happen is that they would be on monthly recurring subscription. Why? Because the bag was a 30-day supply. People that are using the full 30-day supply, by 30 days, they need another supply. And then I would get paid month over month over month over month. Why? Because Beachbody was giving them value in the form of the powdered supplement. Got it? So did it involve Greg? Initially, yes, I had to sell people on Shakeology, which wasn't a hard sell because it was something that I was using. And it was very clear and evident for people that knew me and knew my story, how much this thing had helped me. But basically, over time, I got my first client, then I got my second client, then I got my fifth client, then I got my 10th client, then I got my 20th client. Then I was able to get up to a couple hundred clients that were on Shakeology every single month. Okay, I think my peak, maybe it was close to 450 to 500 clients. Okay, so if you think about 450 to 500 clients, that's between, on the low end, I guess like maybe a high 11,000 up to $15,000 a month. I was making in recurring revenue because people were buying Shakeology, but they were buying it in subscription model. So why is that so important? That's so important because at my peak in my clinics, the most we were making was about $160,000 to $180,000 a month. And that's some good money. Okay, $108,000 a month. Basically, you're close to about $2 million a year. Okay, it's good money. We had a nice profit margin. It was a high volume clinic, or clinics, I should say, and things were good. But can I tell you something? As someone who did the expenses for the clinic, I paid the bills. I saw everything that was coming in, everything that was going out. Every single month, when it was the first of the month, I don't care how good of a month you had, you're starting over. Any clients could leave at any time. People weren't on monthly recurring revenue memberships. They weren't doing that. They were paying per visit. They were paying per session. They were paying per package, okay? And they might have set up their appointments beforehand, but at the end of the day, things happen. People can cancel. They can do this. They can do that. And so the money was never a consistent every single month. So every single month I had that same anxiety, like, oh my gosh, do I have enough? Am I going to have enough to be able to cover having $60,000, $75,000 in the next 7 days because payroll's coming up? Are you following me here? Okay. So I love the steady income because I was able to make this, again, it took me nearly 2 years, but I was able to get to the point where I was making about $12,000 a month in recurring revenue. Okay. In recurring revenue. So I think steady income is definitely the way to go. So now the question is, what type of steady income can you create? All right. I'm going to be doing a masterclass on this. All right. Don't worry. I'm not going to be like, oh, he's just doing a masterclass. No, I'm going to be doing a masterclass. So I'll talk about multiple different ways to do it. I want to use the rest of this podcast to explain how I was able to go from zero to $12,000 a month selling supplements in the clinic. Because I know a lot of you work in a clinic. A lot of you have your own clinic, but you're not making any recurring revenue money. So everything is based off of manpower, off of you getting people to continue to book sessions, book packages, and book your value. But the value is physically you. Okay. Let me tell you how I did the whole Shakeology thing. So here was the first thing that I did. First thing that I did is I, just like you all, I had an intake form for people to fill out before they did physical therapy consultation and eval with me. What I did is I changed some of the wording on my intake page. And one of the things that I asked people is, would you be interested in getting nutritional advice and recommendations that have the potential to enhance and accelerate your recovery? Yes or no? That's what I did. And about 70 to 80% of people said yes. There were always the few outliers, about 1 to 2 out of every 10, that said, no, I don't need that. Okay, cool. So I am focusing on the 7 to 8 that are like, I'm in. Or as you say, the 8 to 9 that were like, I'm in. And so when people would say that they wanted that, then what we would do is we would, in the next 2 visits that we would see them, we would ask them if they can stay an additional 10 to 15 minutes after their appointment. And so what we would do is we would acknowledge first, hey, I saw that you said that you wanted help in this area. And basically what I would do is I would give them a combination package. That combination package included 2 things. It included the 21-day fix containers. Basically, it was an eating plan that people could be on. There were color-coded containers that they used to be able to portion control their foods. And when they used this container, they used a certain amount of containers based on their weight, their age, their gender, etc., and what their goals were. And so what we did is we gave them that in conjunction with the Shakeology. And I believe I charged $150 to $160 for that. Okay. Now those containers were just a one-time offering, but I knew that if I can get them to use the containers with the Shakeology, that there was a much higher probability of them getting a transformational result. So that was kind of like their onboarding charge. And I only presented that to people that said, yes, I want to get help in this area. Okay. That's what I did. Once they got that, and I set up an actual overview session on how to use the containers, but then how and when to take their Shakeology and the different ways that they can prepare it. Okay. That gave them enough Shakeology for a month. And then after that, they were able to opt in. They were able to opt in for monthly recurring revenue. And that's how I was able to build it up to a couple hundred people on my list that were buying members of a recurring revenue membership product. That's how we did it. 12K. And the cool thing about it is that it didn't take any more of my time. Now, here's what I would say to you all. There's a few groups of you, right? There's some of you that you're a solo practitioner. You don't have any more time. You have much more, well, not much more, but you have a bit more money than time. You're time strapped, okay? The way that I did this is to position this to these clients, and they were able to basically just buy it. And from there, over time, they would start to recommend to others, and that's how it was able to build and just take off. Okay. And then you're going to have some people that are like, all right, you know what? I want to come off of this, and that's fine. They can come off. But you had some people that they would just stay on it over and over and over and over and over again. And that's how I was able to take it to that next level. And that's it. And so that is how you would do a product that would turn into a membership. And that pretty much everyone could do. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to use Shakeology. Maybe you don't use Shakeology. Maybe you use something else. Maybe you have supplements. Maybe you do it with just information and you give them guidance, you give them education. Maybe you do it through a software. There's other things that you can do. I'm going to talk about all those other things that you could do in the masterclass, but I really believe that everybody could do some sort of recurring revenue membership in some way. Like just give people value every single month. The problem is that we have been trained as providers that we have to have a start date and an end date. Start date and end date. Meanwhile, all the companies that are crushing it have some type of recurring revenue membership that is somewhere interspersed into their ecosystem, their product ecosystem of what they're doing to help people, right? Amazon, if you can just buy products with Amazon, but what is the recurring revenue that they have? Prime. How is that built into their ecosystem? Well, you get your products faster. That's one thing. But for those of you that want entertainment, they give you an entirely different way of consuming from Amazon, not through buying crap from them, but through entertainment. And you can watch games, and you can watch basketball, and you can watch live football, and you could watch movies and all that other stuff, right? So there's many different ways that you can do it Tesla, they do the same thing. They sell cars. That's their main product. But you can also buy their recurring revenue membership, which is their data service that allows you to use all their techie stuff in the cars when you're driving. That's it. They have another recurring revenue where, okay, you have a Tesla, it's cool, but the Tesla can actually drive you out of your garage to wherever you're going and you don't have to touch the wheel, right? And that's a higher level membership, but if you want it, you can cancel it at any time, but you can use it any month that you want. That's it. So guys, there's so many different ways to do this. We'll talk about all of them, or not all of them. We'll talk about a good chunk of them of how you guys can put this into play as a healthcare practitioner. But I highly advise you all to create something because you need steady income. There's no worse anxiety money-wise to where you don't know if the next set of dollars are going to come in. And that sucks. Even if you have a $5 million or $6 million or $7 million practice and you're crushing it, knowing that that stream can change at any time, and I need people to come in order for me to get money, man, that's pretty suffocating sometimes. So anyways, I hope that helps you. I hope that serves you. And much love to you guys. Join my masterclass that I'm going to have this upcoming Thursday. I'll be talking about these recurring revenue options for you even more. All right. 813-534-6453. Just text us masterclass. We'll send you the link. Love you guys. Until next time.